Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. It's a rainy day out there, so I can't get outside. It's not too cold though. Today I wanted to talk about 3 conversations, and I'll get to that in a minute. Do the same. Fill your lungs, smile, relax your body. Just quiet yourself for a minute. Just focus on the breath. Focus on the relaxed body. Don't have to overthink this. It's simple. Let the body go. Nice and loose. Sink into the chair, the couch, the bed, wherever you are. And just relax. And even if you're in the kitchen making some coffee, make sure your body's loose. So today I wanted to talk about the 3 conversations that are going on at all times, or at most times. So the first conversation that's happening is my conversation with you, right? And my conversation with you is accurate knowledge, optimism, you can get well, this stuff works, folks. Calm is the way, safety is the way, you're not broken, not emotionally, physically, or mentally. Your brain and nervous system is working perfectly. It doesn't need to be fixed. It's just operating on misinformation and fear. Fix less, live more, engage your brain in other things besides your symptoms and your inner turmoil about the symptoms. That's my conversation with you. And as a result, many folks report back to me and say, you know, your videos make me feel good. Yes, the conversation is actually giving you great information, safety, accurate knowledge. And as a result, you go, that makes me feel better. My fear comes down, my emotions settle a little bit, I'm not as terrified. My body can relax a little bit more. That's one conversation. But that one conversation isn't enough for you to recover. You got to move on to the second conversation, which is the conversation with yourself. All right? What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? And I'm going to urge you to be cautious because your brain's listening. And if you continually tell yourself, I can't get better because of this, this, and that, or I don't have any proof that I can get better, or, your brain's listening. And what does that do? It keeps the brain scared, perceiving danger. All right? Really important. So what's the third conversation? The conversation you're having with others. Could be family members, your partner, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, people at work, your boss, if you're working, parents, kids, neighbors, friends. There's another conversation. And those conversations can absolutely be good or bad. You know what? I'm going to say conversations with others to include doctors, right? So what are those conversations like? And really, take a pause and say, well, my conversation with Dan, I like that. That feeds me, it lifts me up, it energizes me, it makes me see that this is a reality and it's possible. Conversation with myself. Evaluate it. Is your conversation with yourself anywhere near the conversation with me? Are you able to speak to yourself the way I speak to you to calm yourself down, to lower the stress levels, to balance it, to focus more on engaging in life as opposed to poor me? No insult, but many of us, myself included, spend a lot of time, poor me, I hurt, my life sucks. if that's your conversation, it's going to be tough for my conversation to get you to recover, because I can't do it for you. You got to jump in there and do it yourself. And so, conversation with me, conversation with yourself, conversation with others. And others, I'm going to encourage you to minimize conversation at all about symptoms. Don't talk about your symptoms. That's not beneficial. Just keeps them connected, keeps them present. And inevitably, talking about symptoms, it usually is a negative thing. I really hurt today, whatever, right? So with the conversations with others, you can shortchange it. You know, if somebody says, "How you doing?" You can say, "I'm recovering, emotionally and physically. Thanks. How are you?" Get off the subject. And if they push for more, you say, "No, it's okay. I'm actually doing better. Thank you." Get on to something else, right? You don't have to engage other people, and you don't have to explain what this TMS thing is, because if they're like, "Well, what are you doing to recover?" So I'd rather not talk about it. I'm really focused on that. I'd rather enjoy my time with you without thinking about and focusing on my symptoms. And say, "Look, I know you love me. I know why you're asking, and I thank you for that." But speaking about symptoms keeps them around longer. And I'd much rather spend time with you instead of spending time with the symptoms, which I'm recovering from. Does that make sense? Conversation with doctors. If you're going in for something that has nothing to do with your pain, don't talk about your pain. Why? Because all you're going to get from them is, "Well, we got these muscle relaxers, or if it's really bad, I can get you a pain medication, or let me refer you to my specialist. Let me write a prescription for you to go to my orthopedist," or whatever. Only speak as much as you really need to about symptoms. Now look, some people require doctor's visits to get prescriptions for medications that they currently benefit by. That's fine. Those conversations are okay, but minimize them. If you're going in for evaluation of your back, don't talk about 6 other symptoms. That's going to scare the doctor into going, "Wow, you really need to see my neurologist." Disengage from that level of conversation with the medical world. If you're going to get a massage just for pampering yourself, say, "Shh, I don't want to hear about my muscles. I don't want to hear about how tight I am and how knotted my back is or any of that stuff. Just pamper me." Don't want to hear it, right? We can encourage and coach others not to engage in communication and conversations with us that are not beneficial. And that includes our family and our spouse. I literally had to coach my wife and mother and sister and brother stop asking me about my back. I didn't want to talk about it anymore. That's important for you. So, 3 conversations with me. Listen to them daily. I'm not trying to get you to listen to my video because I want YouTube, viewership. It has nothing to do with that. Listen to it. Have that conversation with me in the morning or whenever you get to it. But then here's the biggest piece of it. You can coach others, around you to not talk about it. You can listen to me, and I'm giving you the positive encouragement and the accurate knowledge and all that kind of stuff. But the most important conversation is the conversation with yourself. Because I'm showing up for anywhere between 6 to 20 minutes, right? Mostly 6 to 12 minutes. And unless you want to watch it on replay over and over and over again or binge watch a whole bunch of my stuff, I'm only talking to you for 6 to 10 to 12 minutes. The conversation you're having with others is only happening for a short period of time. The conversation you are having with yourself is every waking moment of the day. So that, in my opinion, is the most important conversation to be aware of and kind of direct in the direction that you want, right? Because if your constant dialogue inside your head and conversation that you're having with your head is fear, catastrophic thinking, I'll never get out of this, my life stinks, maybe it's not TMS, the doctor told me this, and I've got this medical label, that medical label, this TMS thing isn't working for me, I'm too anxious, I don't know what's going on, I don't know how to fix this. Many of you just felt, as I went through that little bit of an internal dialogue rant, many of you felt that negative energy pulling you like, yeah, that's me. And I'm sorry if that upset you. That wasn't the intent. Just really wanted to paint a very solid picture of how important the internal conversation is. And so, if you can, have the internal conversation, be supporting, encouraging, confident, clarifying. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm good. I got this. I don't have to be concerned with this because there's actually nothing wrong with me. Right? See if you can get your internal dialogue, your conversation with yourself, much more along those lines than the fearful, catastrophic, worrying type. Right? Those 3 conversations are all important. And I'm really, really thrilled that you're watching my videos because I know for certain this stuff works and it will benefit you. But it's not only about watching the videos. It's about taking the knowledge from the videos and implementing them and changing your conversation with yourself. And if your script and the story you tell yourself is kind of crappy, rewrite a new script. And if you need to, write it out on paper so you can look at it. Because sometimes when we're hurting, we can't remember the good stuff. And our logical thinking brain goes out the window. But we can always pick something up and read it. Right? So, change the story. Flip the script. Monitor. And I don't mean like every single thought, every minute of the day. Because I have spoken about you don't have to stop your negative thinking. You don't have to fix it, but you don't have to believe it either. So if the negative thinking and that conversation with yourself is right? Negative, 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 oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. You can literally, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to think about that now. Let me engage in something else, right? Because we have a tough time of doing 2 things at once, when you're engaged in something compelling that captures your attention, it's hard to have that internal rumination about where you are in life and your symptoms. So if those thoughts come towards you, that's okay. You don't have to stop them. You don't have to fix them. Ideally, over time, your thinking is going to get better because the messages are going to become stronger and stronger that you're actually okay, and you're going to start to say, well, if that's true, then what the heck am I worried about? Why am I so upset about this? So this stuff is really important, folks. What are the 3 conversations you're having? Hopefully you feel like my conversation with you is solid and pointing you in the right direction. Hopefully you are minimizing symptom discussion and complaining with other people in your life. And then once that's in place, focus on the internal dialogue. What kind of conversation are you having with yourself? Because understand this, your brain, your subconscious brain, is always listening. Always. So if you want the brain to settle down and to calm down this whole system called the human body and brain and nervous system and symptoms, we have to think, act, and behave calmly. And that internal dialogue is huge. Because again, I talked to you for, 8 to 12 minutes. This one going on 15 minutes. Conversations with other people, a very short period of the day. But you do speak with yourself internally. It's called thinking all day from the moment you wake up until the moment you finally pass out and go to sleep. So that conversation with yourself is the most important one. And I've got people who message me a lot asking for reassurance and, hey, am I doing the right thing? Is this going to work for me? I can't do it for you. you know, the internal conversations where you really want to focus, so that through the vast majority of the day, you're lifting yourself up and you're teaching your brain that you're actually okay, that you are safe. So I'm going to stop there because I could probably say the same darn thing 10 more times and look for different analogies and ways of saying it, but you get the point. Look at your 3 conversations and then focus on the middle one, the conversation with yourself. It's the most important one. That's where implementation happens. So, love you guys and gals. It's weekend. Enjoy it. Engage your brain in something other than worrying about your symptoms. So, love you folks, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.